What it do, H-Town, what it do? On today's show, we will be discussing today marks the start of NBA free agency and the negotiation period.
Show me the money.
Also, we're going to chop up, will the Houston Rockets use their mid-level exception?
Your guess is as good as mine.
And last but not least, will the Houston Rockets' third overall draft pick, Shepard, crack the 10-deep rotation? H-Town, let's cuss and discuss. Get your listening ears ready. Strap up your boots and let's go.
Hey, Houston fans, I am so happy.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1.
Are you ready? I was born for this. Look, every Sunday, whenever we play, I get that text. Are you ready?
Texas!
The pitch. And Altuve hits it in the air pretty deep to left. Carter is back at the wall, leaves, and it is gone! It's gone! How do you like that?
One game at a time.
Green still with it. Gets it back, lets it fly, and got it!
Win on two, 1-2.
Welcome back, H-Town, welcome back. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to spend a few minutes here on Everything H-Town Sports Debate Show. I'm your dreadhead host, Hot Topic TV, and like always, please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, hit that notification bell so you can get the latest flames that your boy drop about your Houston Rockets, your Houston Texans, and sometimes, but very rarely, your Houston Astros. But on to the first topic. The first topic is, could the Houston Rockets actually use their $12.9 million MLE, which stands for mid-level exception, on a veteran sharpshooter? And I believe the Houston Rockets should seriously consider it, being that we are over the cap. We're not over the luxury tax, but we over the cap. So trying to go out there and sign a big name, which to me it's no huge names on the market. Yeah, I guess Paul George declined his option, but he doesn't fit this young core at age-wise. Also, LeBron James, he's staying in LA. He's playing with his son. We all know he's not going anywhere. So to me, it's really no huge name that's on the market that's an all-star, superstar type player that's on the market. I know we've been hearing a lot of trade talks and a lot of rumors about the Houston Rockets. They going star hunting.
Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on, go play.
And they looking for guys who fit the young core as far as the age group, as far as growing up with the team and making this push for years to come. I heard a lot of rumors about the Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is not the number one, man. Even he had to go to Golden State and become the number two. He was something like the number one because he's so dominant as a scorer. But Curry was the number one, man. He had to go to Golden State. He hasn't won a championship being on his own. Everywhere he goes,
and blow up in their face.
Man, when he went out there with Harden to the Nets, that blew up in his face. Now being in Phoenix, that seems like with Bradley Beal and Devin Booker, that seems like that's blowing up in his face. So I truly do not want to chase a 33, 34-year-old, maybe 35-year-old declining star. I don't want to do that with this young core, this young, what they call it, core 6 or core 7 now, since we drafted Shepard. I wanted to basically touch, I want to go into the market of the mid-level exception. The Houston Rockets have a $12.9 million mid-level exception. I know you can't get a type of superstar player with that, but could the Houston Rockets actually look to add a veteran sharpshooter? And I have two guys in mind that will literally improve this Houston Rockets roster and actually make them even more of a win now contender, and they will fit in perfectly with this Ime Udoka system. They would help the Rockets. I know we brought in Shepard. Now we can bring in one of these veteran shooters. Jabari has been on a tear as of late and getting better and more consistent with his shot. Fred VanVleet can go off when he need to. Dylan Brooks is decent. We can add a veteran sharpshooter that can shoot out the gym and shoot the lights out, and that would add to this core. And then we brought in, like I stated earlier, the Reed Shepard, who shot over 52% from the three in his collegiate career. So that would add a lot of shooting depth to this roster, man. Also, not to mention, you're getting help bringing in Steven Adams this year. You traded for a former first-round pick from the Hawks in A.J. Griffin, who's a wing player who can play defensively and, do his thing a little bit from the three-point as well. So you bringing in pieces and seeing what sticks and seeing what is your 10-deep rotation going to be. Who's going to help this team take that next level? We were 500 at 41-41. But like I stated earlier, to me, I have two guys that I believe would help this Houston Rockets roster extremely and push us to that play-in or 8-7 seed type level, maybe even further depending on what this young core does. Will Jalen Green take the next step? Will Jabari Smith Jr. take the next step? We didn't have Tari Eason at all, but I believe 17, 20 games last season. He was a non-factor, but he can bring his defensive prowess and what he can do offensively as well. Reed Shepard, all these guys, Amen Thompson, Cam Whitmore, man, we have some young guns and some young ballers on this team, but none of those guys are just lights out shooters. Now, Cam, I believe he have a chance to duke and shoot. He finally was able to crack the rotation. I believe as a rookie, he averaged almost 14 points a game off the bench. Cam is a baller. I believe he could be a 3-level scorer once he develops a little more. But like I said, a man doesn't have a jumper. It's definitely not consistent. He definitely has to work on that this offseason. No one on the team, Jalen even struggles with his jumper and his three-point shot at times. And those are your two prime players, like a number 4 overall pick and a number 2 overall pick, who both struggle with their shot. So bringing in a Reed Shepard was accepted with open arms. I love it. Reed Shepard is more than just a shooter. The guy can play defense. He plays the passing lane well. He's sneaky athletic. What people say, sneaky athletic.
Watch your mouth!
The boy can jump out the gym as far as having at least, if he got a 42 and that was luck, I mean, he's at least a 38-inch vertical, man, and that's decent for a guy that plays a point guard position who's undersized as well, but is a shooter. So, to me, here are the two guys, and I know I said it multiple times, that I believe the Rockets should take a serious look at. And my number one guy is Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield is my first option. And Buddy Hield has a career three-point percentage of 39 to 40% since he's came in the league. Last season, I believe he was around 39% as well. But he's a career three-point shooter, 39 to 40% three-point shooter. The guy just lights out. The guy gets it done behind the arc. Buddy Hield is also a decent defender. Buddy Hield would defend. He would fit perfectly in this Ime Udoka system. He would help tremendously. So now you bring in a Buddy Hield, you bring in a Reed Shepard, Jalen Green, Jabari, those guys take the next step, and you could go from a 41-win team to around about a 51-win team. You can increase your win percentages or your win total by at least 10 games, 9 to 10 games. So I believe bringing in a sharpshooter like Buddy Hield, a career 40% three-point shooter, and a pretty good perimeter defender, it would help this team tremendously take that next step that Ime Udoka is trying to do. And without bringing in a superstar, because like I said before, the Houston Rockets is over the salary cap. We're not in the luxury tax threshold, but we're over the salary cap. So going for this huge name, bringing in a guy for 40, 50, 60 million dollars, we cannot afford to do at this moment. We have a lot of young core guys. They haven't even extended Jalen Green and Alfred Şengün with their extensions, because they're trying to see what they do for one more year to see if these guys truly are your main guys or your superstars, or could turn into being the superstar and the leader of this team. Alfred Sengun had a heck of a season last year. He had about 21. He averaged about 21 a game, about 10 boards. Alfred Sengun took a major step and should have probably been a all-star, but he was like a fringe type guy right there on the brink of being a all-star. But another guy and another sharpshooting veteran that I believe the Houston Rockets should look to add to this roster, and that is Malik Beasley. He played for the Milwaukee Bucks last season. That guy right there is a career 38-39% three-point shooter as well. I like what Malik Beasley can bring to this team. He's another veteran sharpshooter, career 38-39%. Last year, I believe he actually shot 41.3% for the Bucks from behind the arc. So, I mean, he increased his shooting percentage tremendously. And he's already a good three-point shooter. So you add that cat as well as a Reed Shepard, as well as Jabari taking the next step as a stretch big, a stretch four, or however you want to say it. That would tremendously help Ime Udoka, as you also have Amen Thompson who can play the wing, who can play the guard. You have Campbell. You have a lot of switchable guys. Like I say, Jabari Smith can switch from the 1 all the way to the 5, playing defense on the perimeter. So Ime Udoka has some talent to work with. But those are the two guys and the two veteran sharpshooters that I believe the Houston Rockets should seriously take a look at and use that MLE mid-level exception on one of those two guys, because I know we went hot and heavy in free agency last year, bringing in Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks, and we spent a ton of money and a ton of cap space. So we can't do that this year. But we can bring in some veteran guys who have some leadership, who has played a lot of basketball, and who can shoot the lights out and tremendously help the Houston Rockets improve. Will Reed Shepard crack the 10 deep rotation? Or will they do it kind of like they had to do a man and Cam Whitmore? He'll be going back from the Vipers to the Big Club, back to the Vipers, to the Blick Club. Or will his sharpshooting help him crack the 10 deep rotation immediately? Because the guy plays like a veteran. He does a lot of things. He plays the passing lanes. The guy has a hell of an IQ. The guy he's a knockdown shooter. And why would you send a knockdown shooter to the Rio Grande when you drafted him because you needed shooting, unless, like I said, you bring in a veteran sharpshooter and kind of let him develop and move him back and forth and let him get a little taste of the Big Club, and then go back and learn the system as well with the Vipers. But like I said, I believe he can crack the 10 deep rotation because he is so great at shooting. He's so great at shooting. He can be a facilitator as well. He can play on the ball and off the ball. So he can match up with the Jalen Green, with the Amen Thompson, with the Fred VanVleet. He can match up with either of those guys because he can play with the ball and without the ball. But I believe Reed Shepard can crack the 10 deep rotation on this Houston Rockets roster. But H-Town, until next time, I'm your Dreadhead host, Hot Topic TB. It's been real chopping it up with you guys, and go Rockets, and peace.
Hey, Houston fans, I am so happy.